Well, hello. Welcome back to Tail 3 Cabins. A lot of people have asked me how my backyard came out when I redid it last fall, and well, here's kind of the finished project. The soft area I had over here that I could never get my mower without creating ruts, never dried out, seems to be doing okay. It's not soft and spongy anymore, so we fixed that issue. It's not full of moss anymore, so it looks much better having actual blades of grass popping up through here than just all moss and weeds. And it's not coming out too bad, a little thin, but I might reseed some areas come this fall just to touch it up a little bit, but otherwise it's pretty good. But if you watched that project last year, I had some issues with some sprayers, and I tried to take about 4 broken sprayers and make one good one and just couldn't do it. I ended up buying a cheapie from Home Depot just to get me through to spray back here so I could kill off the grass and reseed it. This year I'm in the market again for another sprayer, and I picked one out, and I think it's going to suit my needs, so why don't you come check it out and see how I'm going to work it with my tractor and my UTV. Now last year I had 2 ATV sprayers, one in southern Ohio and one here, and then I had a couple pump sprayers. And I couldn't get any of them to work when I started working on my backyard. The ATV sprayers are very disappointing. It looks like maybe mice might have chewed into one of the hoses. Pumps were locking up, a lot of leaks around the handles, and it didn't really have like a broadcast type sprayer on the back. So that's one thing I wanted to get. I also still wanted to have the wand for spraying trees and getting weeds around perimeters. So I was looking for the best of both worlds here. Last fall when I ran into that issue with all these pump sprayers, I ran out and got an $8 one at Home Depot and slowly but surely went through my backyard and killed off all the moss. And then time went by where some of the stuff was coming back. I didn't have a chance to reseed it quickly enough, and I ended up borrowing a friend's sprayer that hooks up to a lawnmower. I kind of jerry-rigged it to my tractor here, and it had its drawbacks also. It made it a lot nicer than using that pump sprayer, but you didn't want to definitely go in reverse. It would have been nice to have like the 3-point feature that was just attached right to the tractor. So I went with a 15-gallon broadcast sprayer with a wand from Master Manufacturing. I purchased it from Amazon for around $150, and I've seen it vary. You can sometimes find it cheaper and sometimes more expensive. But I thought that this would take care of my needs. I looked at the 3 points of like Tractor Supply, and most of those are 40-gallon. Now it's kind of hard to come by them, but you can find a 25-gallon that's a 3-point. But we're talking around $400, and that just seems a little bit out of my price range for what I'm looking for. This has the broadcast sprayer. I think I'm going to be able to hook it up to my tractor with a little bit of a modification of my carryall, and then I think it's going to have no problem hooking up to my UTV in southern Ohio. So a little bit of assembly here. The unit's pretty typical. It has liters on one side, and then it shows your gallons on the other side that's marked. I found some sprayers that didn't have markings on the side, and you had your best guess, or you had to use a gallon jug to figure out how much water or your mix was going to be in there. The pump is rated for 2.2 gallons per minute, which will be plenty for my needs. There is some assembly, but everything seemed pretty much straightforward. The instructions did not seem bad either. One thing that I did like about this is that the pump has like 2 quick connects on each side. So you can easily take the pump off and probably store it inside for the winter, so prevent from freezing if you didn't get all the liquid out of it. So the previous ATV sprayers that I had prior to this, they did not have that broadcast spreader function, which is something that I definitely want to use, especially down in southern Ohio. All the hoses that came with this is a nice black hard rubber hose. My previous sprayers had like a clear neoprene hose that looked a little braided to it, but they were flimsy. They easily got leaks and easily got holes poked into them, and for some reason I think the mice liked them. So it's all assembled. Didn't take too long, maybe about a half hour tops, plus I was videoing. And I'm ready to hook this thing up and give it a trial run. I'm just going to fill it with water for now, check for leaks, and give it a test run. My first use is going to be on the tractor. I got my carryall hooked up. I have a place where I can strap it down, and all I really need to do is just strap down the parts of the adjustable frame for the height of the jets. It's really going to hold it against the carryall, and it's not really going to go anywhere. Now normally I'll put a DC plug on there and take these alligator clips off, but I'm just going to keep them on. I have an old battery that I used to use for my backup sump pump. We're just filling up with some plain water for now. I want to test it for leaks and see which way each valve works for the wand and then for this broadcast sprayer part. Make sure that the jets are in the right place. Not a test I'd want to do with actual weed killer in it. So I can still control it from the operator's seat of the tractor. I just have the switch draped over the lights here. No leaks so far, especially the handle of the wand. That's the one pet peeve I have when I have weed killer chemicals in there leaking out of that area. So just to give you an idea of the swath that it's going to create, I have the jets pretty high up on the frame part, and I can also adjust my carryall, about a foot up or down right now with the tractor's 3-point hitch. I actually like the idea of just using a spare battery for this. I can still take it down to southern Ohio and put it into the bed of the UTV, and you don't have to have the vehicle running or worry about running your battery dead if you don't. So far so good. I look forward to taking this down to southern Ohio when I have to start killing off the weeds that start coming up through our gravel driveway. We're going to mix up some fruit tree oil here and spray our apple trees and give the wand a good test and see its reach. The wand sprayer can reach up about 25 feet vertical and about 30 feet horizontal. Using this on the tractor, everything seemed to work good. It works perfectly on my carryall. It's strapped down nicely. I liked having that battery. The wand is working good. It's going to be great for our apple trees. Now another test, we take it down to Southern Ohio. By mid-July, it's always very difficult to tell where a gravel driveway is, and I used to use a UTV sprayer without the broadcast part of it, just a wand, and I used to do it by myself, and it was a pain. You'd move the UTV up a couple feet at a time, go back and forth with the wand. Sometimes that hose would maybe get wrapped around the back tire of the UTV, but this is much smoother. Basically the same setup. I brought my battery down with me. I just hooked it up with the alligator clips, and I have the controls down by the center seat, so who's ever operating the UTV can turn it on and off as they wish. This is a lot nicer than the old method that I used, and it goes a lot quicker. So we finished up our driveway, fire pit area, and then we used a wand to go around the cabin to do the perimeter of that, and some other areas that the broadcast part just wasn't practical. So like I said, a 3-point sprayer just would have been overkill for my needs. I really don't need 25 or 40 gallons. I still needed that broadcast feature. To me, I think I got the best of both worlds right now. I need it for my UTV and I need it on the tractor. And I guess if in a pinch, if you didn't have the carry-all, you could carry this in your loader bucket, but then you're either going to be driving over your chemicals or you're going to have to operate in reverse most of the time if you want to use the broadcast feature. I'm going to have some news on the pole barn next week, which is some good news, which is well overdue for this project. But I appreciate everybody watching these videos. Hope you subscribe, like them, and keep an eye on this. Otherwise, take care everybody. Thanks for watching.